Hey, thank you so much for watching. I'm Pippi Peterson. So I'm over at my neighbor Mark's house again, and he's going to be installing an air conditioning in the back of his toy hauler in the back room. So he's going to be cutting a hole in the roof and hooking up all the cables and getting it set in, and so we're going to take a journey through how to do that. And I'm most excited about him cutting the hole in his roof. So let's get started. Since you're going to be creating a bunch of debris from cutting a hole in the ceiling, you're probably going to want to line your whole workspace with plastic. Instead of just unplugging all of his electric, he turned off the breaker, which just has power to the DC on the AC unit, and then pulled out the fuses for the AC. So they first started by removing a light to see if they could find a stud in the ceiling. By feeling around with a wire, they think that the stud is about 2 inches out from the light. And when you push on it, it feels harder in that area. You'll want to measure the hole on the bottom of the AC unit to make sure that you're cutting the right size hole in the roof and not something that's possibly bigger. Once you know the size of the hole, make sure you measure from the inside so that you're cutting the hole exactly in the center of the room. Once you get your measurements done, be sure to draw out the square that you're going to be cutting. When you're cutting the indoor ceiling panel out, be sure that you don't cut into wires that might be on top of them. You'll want to measure out the edges of the inside of where you've cut in your ceiling so that you can build a box around the sides. Because he had these wires that were just running through, and he needs to put the paneling to keep it flat, he took off this staple and then drilled a hole through this little stud and then pushed the wires back there and then just hammered the staple back in, because you won't want wires in your area where you're going to have your AC. For the side that already has the studs that were there originally, you can just use the paneling that you cut out of the roof to line those sides. Since you know exactly where your corners are on the inside, use a drill to drill some holes so when you get up to the roof, you're able to trace exactly where your square should be and where you need to cut. Once you know exactly where you need to cut in your roof, I recommend cutting a smaller square into your rubber roof first so that when all is said and done, you have rubber edges that will fold into the inside of your square box.
I fucking unloaded mine. Just let it sit. I'm not even...
Don't forget to screw your sidewall paneling down once you get back up to the roof so that it's secured from the top and the bottom. Then you can lay on the AC unit from the top and adjust it so the square pegs will fit in the square hole. Once you've got the AC unit placed on the roof, you can seal it up with some caulking. Now you're finally ready to get all the electricity connected. So in this unit, you've got the 2 cables that come with the AC, which is the control and the power and the control cables. And so Mark had to install on his own the thermostat cable, the Romex that's going to come from his power, and the DC cables to provide DC power. Since he used a thermostat, he doesn't need to use the covers with knobs. If he had a cover that was going to be connected to the knobs, he actually would not need to pull DC power in. The only reason why he had to pull DC power in was to connect it to a thermostat, and therefore with the thermostat he doesn't need the controls on the AC unit cover. From your power cable that's coming in from the AC unit, it'll come with a J-box that you'll want to keep it in, and you'll mount that up to the inside of your area. And the black cable is your 120 volt AC. The white cable is your neutral, and then the yellow cable is your ground. And all of that is going to connect to the Romex cable that you can either run, you'll have to run yourself unless you've got power already up there. So also coming from the AC unit that you buy will be the control cables. So here's the power one, and then the control cables are separate, and they'll have little tags on them. The two blue ones are for the Dometic unit are from the furnace, and since he's already got the furnace connected to another air conditioning unit in his trailer, he's going to just cap these off. The red and the black ones are going to connect to your DC supply, which he had to thread through the wall. So he had to install these, and they'll connect to these two gray cables. One is positive and one is negative. And you can see it has the tag that says positive 12 volt DC and then negative 12 volt DC. Then the other two remaining cables are going to be connected to the thermostat cable, which he also installed. And the orange one is the common cable, and the white one is the positive 12 volt that's just supplying to the thermostat. And so with the thermostat cable that he installed, it comes with 5 wires, and how he's got it set up is the red one he's hooked to the common, or the negative 12 volt, so that will actually connect to the white one that he's got. He used the white one for the common, so that'll actually be connecting to the orange common cable that's coming from the AC unit. And then the yellow one is the positive DC, and that will connect to the positive 12 volt to the thermostat one. So with one thermostat cable, you're actually going to be connecting 2 of the control cables from the AC unit, and then 1 of the cables that he installed for DC, which is negative. Always make sure to hook up your ground and neutral cables first. It's protection for yourself. Once you get the wire nuts onto your wires that you're connecting, make sure to pull each wire to make sure that they don't come out. Anything that has AC power running through it needs a J-box, which is a junction box. The thermostat cable with the control cables and the DC cables don't need to go in a junction box because they're DC. Only AC that is over 60 volts needs to go in a J-box. You can use zip ties to clean up all your cords. Mark's using a 5-conductor thermostat cable. It pretty much just means there's 5 little cables inside the big thermostat cord. And since he only needs 3 to attach to his thermostat and power and control cables in the AC unit, he's just rolling back 2 of them. That way in the future, if he needs to use them for something, he's already got his trailer wired to add extra controls. The extra 2 conductor cables could be used in case he ever wants to run the furnace off of this AC unit.
I'll cut these out of the way.
Run the thermostat cable, he just mounted the thermostat and then ran the wire underneath some molding. And he did the same thing with the AC power. It just runs along the ceiling and then down the wall and then connects into some power source down here. power cable that's running the AC current from the air conditioning unit. He put his Romex cable into this power source that he custom did, and he just spliced off his big 50 amp plug that connects outside and ran this in because he wanted to put in his own washer and dryer. And to get access to DC power, he spliced into the DC wires that run to the light right next to where he's mounted the AC unit. Once you get your air conditioning unit all hooked up with all the cables and wires connecting, then you're going to want to do the final connection from your Romex down to your power source. Make sure to test which cable is your 120 volt, your ground, and your neutral. So he's got the ground one connecting to the box. The back ones are the neutral. The back orange is neutral, and then red and black is 120 each because this is a 240 circuit. So he only needs, since the air conditioning unit is only 120 volts, he just has to pick one and connect to one of the 120 volts. Make sure to connect your ground cables first and then your neutral. Once you get everything connected, you can turn back on your AC power breaker and put your DC fuse back in. Then you should see power on your thermostat and it'll turn your air conditioning unit on. AC units will often come with a divider. It'll divide the air that's being taken in and the air that's being taken out, or the hot and the cold air. And you'll need to place that divider before you put on the interior mount, so that you can trim any excess off of the foam. Then you can finally put on the interior mount and screw the bolts in to the bottom of the AC unit that's sitting on the roof. And as you tighten these, it'll squish down the rubber that's at the base of the AC unit on the roof, kind of tightening it in place and sealing it off from air and water. Once you've tested to make sure your air conditioning unit works, you can put your cover back on. So I hope that helps you learn how to reinstall or install a new air conditioning unit. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I'm Pippi Peterson. Go ahead and check out pippitings.com. You can join my RV Living forum and learn a lot about living in your RV and all sorts of stuff related to it. You can also get your Keep It Simple bumper sticker there. And be sure to subscribe for more upcoming videos. Please like and share this video, and I'll see you soon.